Welcome to the Pretty Confident Podcast, where we embrace authenticity, own our worth, and build unshakable confidence. I'm your host, Sierra Renee, so let's dive in. Hello, you guys. Happy Pod Day. How are you feeling today? How has your week been? How has your March been? We are almost through the month of March. Let's make sure we are achieving the goals that we have set for ourselves this month. And if we aren't achieving those goals, what small wins can we go ahead and achieve this month that is going to put fuel in our tank and motivate us throughout the rest of the year and for us to accomplish something in April, right? Like if we are not able to accomplish the things we want to accomplish, look at the small wins, do whatever you can as a small step towards that goal, right? So I want you guys to be accomplish something every month. If you can, something every week. If you want to strive for something very, very small and accomplish something every day or work towards a specific goal every day, do that. Things that start small contribute to the bigger things in life. All right. So I hope you guys are achieving the things that you want to achieve, thinking about things that are going to motivate you and things that you want to accomplish in your life for 2025, and then breaking that down into smaller and manageable steps. And yeah, we are going to accomplish something every month, y'all. And whatever you guys are accomplishing, drop it down in the comments section. Remember, I am on Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeart Radio, and I am also on YouTube at The Pretty Confident Podcast. Of course, that is across the board for all of my platforms. And then on Instagram, I am prettyconfident.pod. So follow wherever you feel like you want to listen. I told you all before, but if you're new here, I will be going visual on my 1 year anniversary for the podcast. So we will be visual July 15th, 2025. That does fall on, I believe it falls on a Tuesday this year. But you guys, what we're going to do is audio will still drop Mondays at 8 a.m. And then the visuals aspect of the podcast on YouTube will drop on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. So it will fall on a day that I will be dropping the visual podcast. It will fall on Tuesday. So I cannot wait for that. But as of right now, just audio is on YouTube. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. How has y'all weekend been? How has your week been? How has your month been? You guys, thank you so much for being here. If you're an OG or if you are just stopping in and listening to a couple episodes, hello. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I still never want to take you all for granted. So I am going to make sure I show my gratitude to you all because y'all have been running up, like literally have been running up the podcast episodes, y'all. Like I took a look in my little app that I can see like how many people stream on Spotify only, and then I get a few listens here and there on YouTube, and y'all are running the numbers up. I don't know who you are out there, but as long as I tell you thank you, I know that it is reaching you if you are listening to this. So thank you so much. And drop in the comment section if you're listening to this on Spotify or YouTube. Drop in the comment sections one thing that you like about this podcast and one thing you wish you can see on the podcast. Not so much see, but one thing that you wish you can hear, so that I can grasp an idea of what you guys are going through, what you all need some confidence in, because that is what we're talking about. And I don't always pre-plan my episodes. It always just, based on what I think I want to talk about or something that I've recently gone through that I think would help, other people if I share and open my mouth and just talk about my experience. And that is, what life is about, going through experiences and sharing your experiences with other people, because you never know what you've been through or what you're going through, how it's going to help somebody else, right? So that is why I'm here. So let's talk about my weekend, y'all. It was so hectic this past weekend. I told you all that I was going to Atlanta for my birthday trip. Of course, we weren't able to go on March 1st because it was just a crazy weekend, and beginning of the month and the month festivities for me at work is kind of busy. So I don't want to play catch up too bad. So if I could take, a trip in the mid month on a weekend, like that is the perfect time because I don't have to come into work so stressed out. Now, some of y'all may be like, well, F that job, you gotta live, you gotta do. Well, the momentary, good feeling and vacationing or trips or whatever, small trips here and there, is it worth the amount of stress that you have to come back to when you come back? To me, no, not right now. Like the life that I'm living right now, I don't have any kids. I do have two dogs that are super duper clingy. Like they are all around my legs right now. And y'all are probably going to see them when I do go visual because they have to be touching me. Like, regardless of what they're doing, they have to touch me or they have to touch each other. Like sometimes I see them cuddled up together on the couch. Other times, if I'm on the couch, they're going to make their way somewhere where they can touch me. It doesn't matter if it's skin, it could be, me underneath a blanket and them on top. Sometimes my little one loves to be inside of the blanket with me. And I'm just like, I did not birth y'all. Why are y'all this clingy? But it is what it is. But yeah, this weekend was so amazing. But me and the life that I live right now, I just don't like a lot of stress. I feel like when I'm very stressed out, I get like a very bad headache and it turns into other things that I feel like aren't normal. So I may have high blood pressure. I'm not sure. I know it runs in my family, but y'all, I may have high blood pressure, but I try to keep my stress levels down, especially because I'm so young. I'm 25 years young and I just don't have time to be having headaches because I'm so stressed out with life and work and maybe, home life and work life combined is just doing too much. So if you are in the headspace of I'm gonna go and deal with whatever I have to deal with when I come back, that's you. But for me, I do not like a lot of stress. So I'm gonna handle whatever the heck I need to handle and then do what I need to do for fun, come back and catch up on whatever I missed and then keep on going. So when I came back, work was fine. Nobody needed a fire put out. And I just feel like one, if I'm that important to where fires are needed or I am the only one that can put out certain fires, that's an issue because I am an individual contributor. I'm not a manager. And so that needs to be, compensated as such. So yeah, but the trip to Atlanta was great. We did a lot of activities. I still need to make a TikTok on it and an Instagram post on it. But y'all, let's talk about OMG. Let's talk about the days before. My weekend was so busy. I don't know what I was thinking when I agreed to so many things at once. But y'all, Friday I worked all day, 6 to 3. Then Friday night, we went to the Cat Williams comedy show. I did not know comedy shows lasted so freaking long. Let me just put that out there because the comedy show started at 8. We got there at like 6:30, which was amazing because we got good seats in the suite that my twin sister was able to, snag and secure for us. So thank you and shout out to her. But yeah, so we got there at 6:30. The show started at 8, but Cat Williams did not come out until I want to say like 10:30. Y'all. It was like, what in the heck? He had everybody out there. Monique was out there. A few other people that I really don't know was out there. Like really, really good vibes, good people that he had. But then I was like, y'all, go ahead and bring out Mr. Williams because I'm getting tired. It's past my bedtime. I'm ready to get home. I'm driving. Like, come on, where is he at? So of course, when he came out, he did his part for like an hour and 30 maybe. I'm not sure. Can't really tell. But I do remember getting home around like midnight or a little bit after that. Or maybe it was a little bit before. See, when it gets too late, my mind, I'm not even looking at the time. But then on top of that, got home, showered, took my makeup off. I was like, oh my goodness, I still have to pack because we were leaving on Saturday, but Saturday was also my granddad's surprise 75th birthday party. I remember telling y'all that before, I was making the invitations, digital design, all of that. And so, of course, the day finally came up. So I was like, okay, we need to go ahead and pack because when we get done with that, we're going straight to Atlanta. We're not going to have time to come home, pack, do all of this stuff because it's a 3.5 hour drive. And I'm not trying to, rush too much as far as like packing. So I stayed up extra late. My boyfriend stayed up extra late. We were both packing. I don't think we went to bed until almost 2 o'clock that morning. And then we woke up at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. loaded up all our stuff, loaded the dogs up. I went and got gas in my truck because I was like, we need to go ahead and get gas now because we headed straight there. Straight there, straight there, straight there. So then we went to, Columbia for my granddad's surprise party, y'all. I tell you, I don't. It was just a mad person's show. Like whatever could go wrong, I don't even know. So my grandma like asked us to go pick up the chicken. We go to the place where we were supposed to pick up the chicken. They don't have the order. So we're like, wait, why don't you have the order? Come to find out, she ordered the chicken in Murfreesboro, which is like an hour or less depending on traffic from where the event was. Now, mind you, if we knew it was in Murfreesboro, okay, we probably could have picked it up and, drove it to Columbia on our way down there. But she was under the impression that she ordered it from the Columbia location. So we're all trying to scramble for chicken for food because that they had a whole spread and chicken was basically the meat aside from like the cut up ham. So my twin and I are over here trying to get chicken from either KFC, Papa, like wherever we could get chicken. So we just got the chicken from Kroger. Then we had to run and get the chicken from the other place because we was like, if y'all could just do two batches, because they were like, yeah, in order to do that, it's going to take us like 2 hours. I was like, we do not have 2 hours. Y'all just do two batches. She said it'd take 20 minutes for 35 pieces. So we just told her do two batches. That'll be 40 minutes. That'll give us time to run across across town to get like it. Moral of the story, I was stressed out. I did not eat that morning because I was like, we're going to eat there. I was not prepared to work because on top of that, when we got back, we had to serve. So I'm like, not only did I not know we were doing pickup service, but we also served everybody at the party. Like, you know how like you get up and go on a line at church and there's people like putting the food on your plate. That's literally what my twin and I was doing. So shout out to my twin because Lord have mercy, my head started hurting, and when my head gets to hurting and I haven't eaten, my stomach start hurting, and then my whole mood has changed. So I was trying to be in a good mood, but my head was hurting. I didn't eat, and then y'all, my boyfriend and I let my boyfriend drive to Atlanta. I was tossing and turning in that passenger seat. My head was still hurting after eating. I took medicine, still hurting. My head was hurt. My head was hurting. My stomach was hurting. Y'all, everything was hurting. Then we get to the hotel. Couldn't really figure out couldn't figure out parking. But then we figured out parking, and then we couldn't really find the hotel because it was like 3 different hotels connected to this one little plaza place where you could get food and shop and do all this other stuff. Finally found the hotel. He goes back to the car because he can't find his wallet. Like whatever could go wrong went wrong. Went completely wrong. So then I'm throwing up at the hotel that same night because I'm like, dude, my stomach is still hurting. So then I'm throwing up. Then I go to sleep, fall asleep, and we were supposed to go out to dinner that night. Like as soon as we got to the hotel, we were supposed to go out to dinner. Was not able to go out to dinner because I'm throwing up and now I'm tired. I'm like, please just give me a Sprite or something that will like, settle my stomach. And then I fall asleep and I wake up and it's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, where did the time go? I fell asleep and we were supposed to go get something to eat. So I felt bad because I'm like, he was driving the whole entire time. Then he also helped set up for the party. And then on top of that, I was throwing up. He was taking care of me. And I don't even know if he ate. So it was just so freaking hectic. So kind of slept in Sunday. And then we just, went out. We went for brunch. We went to Museum of Illusions. He bought me so many things. Like, even though he left his wallet, he still had access to his cards on his phone. So he bought me so many things. I have on the bracelet that he bought me. It's so beautiful. But yeah, we had a great time. And then Monday we went to the aquarium, got something to eat, and then he drove us all the way back. But y'all, I just wanted to say, throughout this whole entire thing, I just love my man so much. Like, I don't know. Like, I was already upset because I'm like, not only is this inconveniencing me, it's also inconveniencing him, and I don't know how he feels about it. So I'm okay if whatever is inconveniencing me, but it's when it starts inconveniencing other people that I love. And so I was just so, happy and proud and like glad that he wasn't a bad sport about it. And so I just showed him my gratitude. I told him I love you. I'm just so thankful that you were able to put up with this even when I was getting upset. You calmed me down. And so yeah, but today, honestly, what I want to talk about is, striving to understand your significant other, because during our time in Atlanta, there were certain times where we got into like, when you like can't really understand what the other person is saying, so y'all are like kind of like mixing what the other person is trying to say versus what their intentions behind their, like what they actually mean versus how you're perceiving it. And now you guys are like in an argument, or not an argument, but like a disagreement, because you really don't understand what the other person is saying. That is exactly what happened to us. And one thing about me, I try to say things as clear and concise as possible. And so, how I say things and how he interprets it could be completely different from how I'm saying it, and vice versa. How he's saying something versus how I interpret it could be completely different. So, we were getting completely off on the wrong track, and I was getting frustrated because I was driving, trying to find us some food after we left the aquarium, trying to find us some food, but like how he was saying something was like completely different from how I was interpreting it. And so I understood how he said it a different way than how he meant it. Right. And so that meant, mixed and missed communication. And so I was getting frustrated because I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. You said this is how I took it. So what the heck are you trying to say? Because now I'm just driving around Atlanta because I don't know where the heck we're going when I need to be getting on the highway. So just trying to understand your partner is going to be the biggest hurdle. And not even hurdle, it's something that you have to continuously want to do in your relationship. I feel like a lot of people get in relationships, friendships, regard whatever, and sometimes they drain themselves trying to get somebody to understand them. When most of the time you have to ask yourself, does this person want to understand me, or is this person has this person already made up in their mind that they are going to misunderstand me whenever they can? And I say that to say, if you get with somebody that is hell bent on not understanding you, you are going to constantly have these arguments and miscommunications and disagreements, because the person isn't trying to get to the bottom of what you mean when you say certain things. And I want to say I know how to I want to say I know how to identify the differences, but I feel like the differences, just kind of depends on the person, right? Like, I feel like if I am trying to help you understand what I am saying and you are just like, oh no, this is what you meant, this is what I understood. Okay, I understand how you interpreted it, but I'm trying to tell you this is how I meant it. So I feel like if the person is not trying to accept or acknowledge how you try to convey something to them, that is somebody that is hell bent on misunderstanding you. Because if you were really trying to understand what I'm saying to you, then you would give me the floor to explain how I meant something, and versus just saying like, oh well, no, this is how I took it, right? And there's a time and place like to say, okay, well, this is how I took it versus this is what you meant, right? I'm not saying like you can't say, or you can't allow the other person to say how they took it, because that is also another form of understanding your partner, striving to understand your partner. Because one thing in my relationship, my boyfriend is more, he doesn't pull his punches when he says certain things. And remember when I told you all that you can be honest and blunt without being rude? He is very honest and blunt. But I mean, he's from the islands. Like, that is like, if you know anybody from the islands, they are very blunt. Like, they could be saying something and it may not sound rude, but how they're saying it could be, I want to say, like, it could be kind of like aggressive, right? They kind of talk aggressively. And so he tries to like mind how he says things to me. Because like, I'm somebody where I feel like I used to be verbally abused. So when things get too aggressive or too heightened in emotion, I shut down, because I'm like, ooh, I'm not about to deal with that. And in this state, like, I don't want to talk to you when you're angry. I don't want you to talk to me when I'm angry. There may be a time for that, but when I'm just trying to understand what you're saying or ask you for direction, I don't need aggression, right? And he's never disrespected me our whole entire relationship, nothing like that. So please don't take it as far as like, oh, well, he's just mistreating you and disrespecting you by talking to you. No, he doesn't disrespect me whatsoever. And I never feel disrespected, but he does talk aggressive. So when he gets in that aggressive state, I'm like, I'm going to back down, close down in my shell, and I'll just talk to you later. Right. And so what I mean by making sure your partner is trying to understand, one, how they meant something or what they meant when they said something versus how you took it. My boyfriend and I were always open in that area. Like, okay, this is what I said and this is how I meant it. How did you take it? Because you responded in a way I wasn't ready for you to respond, right? Like, there are certain reactions that I make and he's like, wait, what did I say to make you react that way? Because how I meant it, I don't think it warranted, or I don't think it should have caused that type of reaction. And so when we are able to have those type of conversations, we're able to nip stuff in the bud. Remember when I told y'all about what builds resentment? Those small actions that somebody else took that you didn't resolve because you didn't want to, or you didn't feel like you could, or the other person never gave you the time, or you didn't speak up and advocate for yourself in the moment. Those situations where you're having conversations and the other person may mean something and you mistook it for something else, but because you didn't want to bring it up and raise the question of, is this how you meant? Because is this what you meant? Because this is how I took it. It builds on that resentment. So instead of building resentment in my relationship, I am bringing things up front and addressing them. And he does too. It is not only the fact that, oh, he is saying something and meaning it a different way than how I'm taking it. I say things also, and I mean it in a different way than how he takes it. So making sure that he, and y'all are not building resentment in your relationship. If there is anything that is bothering you and your partner doesn't bring it up, it may be because it didn't bother your partner, but how do they know it bothered you if you don't say anything? People in relationships, we all are not mind readers. We have to understand there are going to be things that upset our partners, but it's going to be their job as much as it is going to be our job as much as it is their job to express what made them upset, what made them react in a negative way towards what we say, right? And so when our partners brings that to our attention, then it is our job to be like, okay, let me be more mindful when I make certain decisions. Let me be mindful with the words that I do say. Let me make sure that if I get this negative reaction out of my partner, let me ask them, why did they react that way? Because I may have not meant for them to react in such a negative way, right? And so if you do that, I promise you there is not going to be resentment built up, because that tension just adds on to the relationship. So the next miscommunication happens, that's just more tension and weight on whatever conversation y'all are having. And then once the person just can't take anymore, that's when they explode. That's when the cookie starts to crumble, and that's when relationships start to dissolve. So have those conversations. Strive to understand your partner, because I promise you, 9 times out of 10, it's either a miscommunication or misinterpretation, right? So that's one thing that I definitely want to get out, especially to our younger generation, right? Because I did not have the blueprint. I did not have relationships that helped me understand this until this relationship. And I want you to understand that healthy relationships are going to make you analyze and figure out who you are as a person, and if you go hand in hand with the person that you are trying to be with. The toxic relationship, this person is just going to pull and tug you, and it's going to be like a tug of war, pulling you to and from, pulling you to and from. You don't know how to interpret your feelings. But a healthy relationship, this person is going to want to help you understand your emotions, so in turn they can understand you, right? If you don't understand yourself, if you don't understand your emotions, you do not you are not equipped with the tools to help the other person learn and love you, right? So if you are broken, if you are fresh out of a toxic relationship, have you done the healing? Have you done the self evaluating? Have you done the self reflection to understand, okay, this is what I need out of a relationship, and this is what I want out of a relationship. This is when I need to figure out my boundaries and preferences, because this is going to help the person that I end up with, or the people that I am dating. If I'm, in the dating field, this is going to give me the guidelines, give the other person the guidelines of what I do and don't want in my relationship, so that they know how to love me, so that they know how to show me love, right? And so if you are not equipped with that, you are going to have a very hard time. And yes, you are going to find yourself in failed relationships. Not failed in the sense that, okay, now I can take this information, learn from it, and move on and use it in my next relationship. But failed in the fact that you may have met your one, but you were not ready. Right person, wrong time, right? So just y'all, just continue to strive. And if you haven't been in a place of wanting or trying to understand your partner, or you can feel the fact that your partner is hell bent on not trying to understand you and only thrives off of misunderstanding you and gets a rise out of you because of it, what is the point of sitting there talking to a wall, right? Move on. But if you have found yourself in an area where, okay, this is what my relationship is missing, let's see if I'm just misinterpreting things that my partner is saying. Let's see if my partner is just misinterpreting things that I say. Start the conversation. A lot of things can be helped and worked on if you just start the conversation. Most of the time, when we try to hide, when we try to, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings, oh, I don't want to bring this up, that is when the cookie starts to crumble. How do you want to have a healthy and strong relationship if you are too scared of getting down in the trenches with your partner to figure out how to build the foundation for your relationship? It's not going to work. You have to put in the time. You have to get your feet dirty. You have to get your hands dirty, from time to time. If it hurts your partner's feelings, okay, why? Is this something that you can avoid doing? If not, that's probably not the person you need to be with, because you have either self-control issues, or that other person is too sensitive, or is not in the right headspace to be in a relationship. And that's sometimes, one of the biggest things. Sometimes we just want to be with somebody and we don't understand that this is not the season where we need to be with somebody. Okay, this is the season where we need to sit and conversate with ourselves. How are you misinterpreting things that is happening in your life? There are a lot of things that I used to think, oh, well, why is this happening? Oh, it must just be like that victim mentality. No, this is happening in my life for a reason, right? If I did not understand who I was and my emotions, that rejection from the position that I really wanted, that rejection, I could have read that a different way. No, I'm not going to misinterpret my feelings, and I'm not going to misinterpret my thought process of how I'm thinking about this rejection. I could have sat with that rejection and just wallowed in it, and oh, I could have just gave up. No, I'm still out here actively trying to figure out what is my next move, because if the next two people in that position don't move, what is going to be Sierra's next move? It's not going to be sitting on my hands waiting for other people to make a mark. No, I need to take control of my own life. I told y'all, we are not letting life happen to us. We are making life happen. All right. So keep that same mentality in your relationship. I am not letting this relationship happen to me. I am making this relationship happen. I am going through the good times, the bad times, and me and my partner, God willing, my partner wants to go through this with me, because sometimes you could, be headstrong and want this relationship to work so bad that you are not reading into the fact that your partner doesn't want this relationship to last, right? So, yes, You have to, have that mindset and mentality of I'm going to get through the good and bad times with my partner, but you also have to understand that partner has to want to do the same thing with you. It's not a one-way street. If so, you are going to feel like you are tired in this relationship. You are doing and putting in majority of the work. And if you feel like that and overwhelmed and you say something to your partner and nothing happens, you are going to feel like, oh, well, this does fall on me. This is my role in the relationship, when it's not. It's both people's role in the relationship to want to understand each other and go through the good and bad times. All right. So that was my message today, because I just feel like a lot of young people nowadays, they just feel like everything is always going to be good, and it's really not. It's really not. There are going to be some times where one or the other person just doesn't want to deal with, life in general. And so when your partner comes in, it's just like, ugh, like, do I really have to do this? Do I really have to do that? It's not always going to be sunshines and rainbows. There are going to be ugly days. But if I am carrying the 90, or if I am only carrying 10, if I can only carry 10, are you able to carry the 90? When you carry the 10, am I willing and do I want to carry the 90? That is the question you need to ask yourself. Do you want to be with this person through your good and bad days? Right? So I just hope that I am speaking to somebody out there. Please strive to understand your partner. Please strive to understand yourself as a human being and your wants and needs out of a partner, right? And stop getting with these people that are pleasing to look at, because that is one thing. Oh, is he your type? Well, he's not tall, he's not dark skinned, he's not this. Okay. And if he's not, that is all going to change, right? When he gets older, he's not going to look like this. He's going to look completely different. So it's, if you can be with this person for who they are, right? Get past looks. Yes, that is, being attracted to somebody is definitely something that you would want in a relationship, but that is not all that a relationship is. If you build your relationship off of attraction, as soon as that attraction goes bad, or you don't feel attracted to that person one day, you are more motivated to cheat, right? So there are some days, some weeks that I'm not attracted to my man, because I'm either tired, I'm on my period, or I just had a bad day at work and I don't even feel like dealing with, just additional stuff. So I'm not attracted to you right now. I'm just tired. I just need time for myself. Or can we please just sit down, order out, and watch something on Netflix or Amazon Prime or something? Can we please just do that? I'm not attracted to you right now. I don't want to jump your bones right now. And then there are other weeks where I want to jump his bones every single day of the week. Okay? TMI, TMI, TMI. But y'all are family. So it is what it is. But yes, please strive to understand yourself, and please strive to understand your partner. That is what I am going to leave you all with today. We have two more, well, this week, next week, and only one day on the last week. The 31st is literally a Monday, and then it starts April. So y'all, this year is moving by fast. 2025 is not here to play. So we can't be here to play either. All right. So thank you for tuning into the Pretty Confident Podcast. Remember, confidence isn't about perfection. It's about embracing who you are. Remember to follow me on Instagram at prettyconfident.pod. You can find me on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeart Radio, and YouTube at the Pretty Confident Podcast. But until next time, stay bold, stay authentic, and stay pretty confident. Peace out.